A few weeks back, MLB announced they're going to be cracking down on illegal foreign substances that pitchers were using to get a better grip and increased spin rate. This week, umps began checking pitchers, some okay with it, some irked but going along with it, and some just completely irritated. Before we go any further, I want to remind you to smash that like if you're all for baseball, cleaning this up, and make sure to subscribe. In this video, we're going to take a look at some of the largest spin rate decreases over the majors since the umps began checking pitchers. As a disclaimer, a reduced spin rate is not a sign of guilt. It could just be a bad game. So if there is a pitcher here that you're interested in, be sure to track their starts moving forward. It is, however, suspicious that the drop is happening now. Hitters that would comment about the matter said it was rampant and that almost everyone was using some form of sticky stuff other than rosin. And if these spin rates are any indication, then boy, they weren't kidding. So we all know the usual suspects with this spin rate sticky stuff ordeal. Cole, Bauer, and late to the party but arrived with a bang, Yu Darvish. Cole's spin rate has been down for several starts now, but here is his breakdown from his last start against the Royals. And you see the spin rate on the fastball down 229 RPMs, the slider 216, his curve 150, down. Now he went 7 innings, only gave up 3 hits, 3 walks, 2 runs, struck out 6. A fine start, quality start. The Yankees will take that. But you're not seeing the drastic K rate. It wasn't 7 innings and 13 strikeouts and a shutout. Trevor Bauer, whose spin rate has also been down for a few starts now, down considerably. The slider, the fastball, cutter, sinker. Didn't throw the knuckle curve a lot, but when he did, you can see all of it down considerably. But you could argue he pitched well, 6 innings, 10 strikeouts, but he did give up 5 hits and 4 walks, so 9 base runners. Gave up just 3 runs. You'll take that against the Padres. So Bauer with a good start despite everything. And then here is Darvish, his last start against the Dodgers. 6 innings, 2 hits, 1 walk, 11 strikeouts. Struck out like 6 or 7 Dodgers in a row at one point. So he was still very good, but look at the spin rate. Look at how much it was down by. He only threw the splitter one time. Watching the game, you could see that he was going back to the rosin bag a lot more than I remember seeing him in his starts. I may be wrong there, but seemed like he was going to that rosin bag a lot more, trying to get the grip, and that's fine. They're allowed to do that. That's why the rosin bag is out there. It's okay to go and get the rosin. Pitched well. Again, pitching differently, only throwing the splitter one time. And that's one of the things that we have been seeing also, is that pitchers are now throwing, in several instances, more off speed and less breaking. With Darvish here, that cutter and that slider can be a deceptive combination, and he used it very well against the Dodgers his last time out, despite the reduced spin rate. Pitchers who were using sticky stuff and now aren't will still have good outings. So why do we care? Well, you're probably going to see their K rate come down to a more realistic level. You'll see them give up more runs, and they might not go on a 10-start win streak where they're just unhittable. They'll get rocked a few times in there, here and there. So now here are some pitchers who went out there and had bad outings with the reduced spin rate. Julio Urias, you see the spin rate down on the fastball of the curve, and he didn't throw it a whole lot, but the change was down a lot. Lasted 4 innings, gave up 6 hits, 4 walks, and 6 runs against the Padres his last time out. Andrew Heaney, last time out against San Francisco, 6 innings, 10 hits, 5 runs. Did strike out 10, but a lot of hits, a lot of runs. You see that spin rate was down nearly 100 RPMs on his four-seam fastball and his curveball. Frankie Montas saw a big decline, and Texas got to him. 5 2/3, 9 hits, 2 walks, 8 runs allowed. That fastball, sinker, slider, splitter, none of them were rotating like they usually do, so he was getting hit. Garrett Richards, this could be a problem in Boston. He'd been pitching well. Now it looks like he's going to be completely ineffective. This is alarming. That fastball the curveball, slider, all down big time with the RPM, with that spin rate. He went into the second inning, 5 runs, 4 walks, 3 hits, just had trouble getting anybody out against the Rays. And it's not just the starters. Got to keep an eye on these guys coming out of the bullpen. Keep an eye on the closers. Brad Hand, last time out against the Phillies, 1 inning, 3 hits. Didn't give up a run. Got through it. 1 strikeout. So again, we're looking at these spin rates. I'm presenting them to you. You can track the pitcher moving forward. You can make your own decisions. Again, could be a bad game. Could be that they had a little help with a foreign substance. Now again, reduced spin rate doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to go out there and get roughed up. Max Scherzer went out against Philly, 5 innings, 2 hits, 3 walks, 8 strikeouts, was checked 3 times. But again, nobody is going to get caught with anything at this point. You have to be a complete moron to get caught with a substance right now. Scherzer's spin rate was down noticeably. Shohei Ohtani. We love Ohtani. He's the MVP favorite right now in the American League. Look at his spin rate. Last time out against San Francisco, 6 innings, 6 hits, 2 walks, just 1 run allowed, 9 strikeouts, still pitched well, but got to keep an eye on that spin rate as he moves forward. Brandon Woodruff, it's been nice for the Brewers this year. You see that spin rate down considerably. I'm looking for pitchers who are showing a reduced spin rate that have thrown a considerable amount of pitches. 98 pitches last time out for Brandon Woodruff. If you go back and look at anybody we've already mentioned, you'll see we're getting some significant pitch counts here. We want a sample size that gives us an indication on what's going on. And you see 98 pitches from Woodruff, and his spin rate was down big time. Still, racked up the strikeouts, 9 strikeouts over 7 innings, only 3 hits allowed, 2 walks, 1 run, pitched well against Arizona. Gotta watch him moving forward, though. Lucas Giolito. This one is interesting to me because his fastball spin rate down a lot, down 187 RPMs. The slider also down considerably. Look at his changeup. His changeup was up considerably. So what do we make from this? You be the judge. But for that fastball to be down that much, for that slider to be down that much, that is interesting to me. His changeup is one of his more effective pitches. So what's going on there? We'll see. Like I said, I'm presenting you with some information. You guys make your own decisions. Against Pittsburgh, his last time out, 6 innings, 4 hits, 2 walks, 2 runs allowed, and 7 strikeouts. Dylan Cease got through his start, pitched well against the Pirates, but that spin rate on the fastball to be down almost 300 RPMs. The slider almost 200. That is worrisome. White Sox fans, you have to watch this. This is what I'm talking about. Dylan Cease, with the spin rate down that much, means the ball is going to be a little easier to hit. We're seeing it across baseball. Batting averages are going up. Slugging is going up. Feel like Dylan Cease is going to be heading into a rough patch here if this is what his spin rate is going to be. If his spin rate on his fastball is going to be 300 RPMs down from what it had been this year, 200 on the slider, Dylan Cease could be headed for a tough stretch. Or he'll adapt to it, maybe go with more of that off speed, and maybe he can counter it. Got to track it. Caleb Smith ultimately pitched well against Milwaukee, 6 innings, 4 hits, 1 run. Did walk 4 batters, struck out 6. Got to get that walk rate down, but you see the spin rate on the fastball and the slider down considerably. 106 on the fastball, 163 on the slider. Merrill Kelly, the fastball, the changeup, the cutter, the curve, the sinker. He threw them all a good amount, and that spin rate was down considerably. Versus Milwaukee, though, 7 innings, 5 hits, 1 walk, 1 run, and 5 Ks. So he still pitched effectively despite the reduced spin rate. Tyler Anderson saw his fastball down big time, 187 RPMs. The changeup was down 133. His sinker down 66. Against the White Sox, 6 2/3, 5 hits, 1 walk, 3 runs allowed, 4 Ks. He'll take that night in and night out, but I worry about some of his starts coming up. Taking a look at the bullpen again. We got to watch the bullpen. Edwin Diaz, his spin rate down. These are his last 2 appearances. That fastball and that slider down 270 and 244. And then his next time out down 186 and 197. Diaz gives the Mets and Mets fans heart palpitations while he's out there anyway. If his spin rate is down, it's going to get interesting. Now, these 2 times through, didn't give up a run. How he does moving forward, that's what we got to watch. And Richard Rodriguez, one of the interesting pieces that might be available at the trade deadline. Last time out, that is a big drop in spin rate on the fastball and the slider. Now, he threw the fastball 6 times. He threw the slider 3 times. So this is something we got to watch over his next couple of appearances. Is it down that much? Against the White Sox, this outing, 1 inning, no hits, no walks, no runs, did strike a batter out, so he was still effective despite the reduced spin rate. But how does he perform moving forward? Clayton Kershaw against the Padres. Look at the spin rate on the slider and that fastball. That is a big dip and kind of surprising to me. Is it a missing foreign substance? Is it a bad game? You're going to have to decide. We're going to have to watch these starts moving forward. Against the Padres, 6 innings, 4 hits, 2 walks, 3 runs allowed, 7 strikeouts. Not a great outing. You'll take it. Not a bad outing. We got to watch Kershaw moving forward. Rich Hill. Rich Hill's spin rates were down big time against the Red Sox his last time out. He went 5 innings, gave up 3 hits, just 1 run, but did walk 5 batters, struck out 5, sort of a bend, don't break kind of game. But if this is going to be his spin rate moving forward, we could see more break from Rich Hill in these starts than the Rays are going to want to see. Trevor Rogers has been a nice story for the Miami Marlins, and his last time out against the Blue Jays, look at the spin rate. Now on the fastball, it wasn't down that much. Down 59 RPMs really does not raise an eyebrow, not at all. But it is that breaking pitch, that slider down 238 RPMs. That is concerning. The Blue Jays in this game were jumping on him. 5 innings, 5 hits, 2 walks, 3 runs allowed, 6 strikeouts. Trevor Rogers is going to have to watch him. Tyler Mahle, last time out against the Twins, only went 4 innings, gave up 5 hits, walked 3, gave up 3 runs, struck out 3, and had a big time reduced spin rate. That fastball down 124, but the slider down almost 200 RPMs. The splitter, he didn't throw it a ton, down 218. Jordan Lyles with some of the biggest drops in spin rate that I've seen. Curveball down 239. The fastball down 242. The slider down 176. He had a big drop in his spin rate. Now he was able to get through it. 6 innings, 5 hits, 1 walk, 2 runs. Only struck out 3. He's not going to miss too many bats. He's going to pitch to a lot of contact if this is how he's going to pitch moving forward. Let's go back to the bullpen. This is not something Braves fans want to see. Will Smith, his last 2 appearances. The fastball, not terrible. I mean, down 84 RPMs in 1 appearance is not great, and down 54 in another, that's not great. But the slider down 209 and then down 80. Got to continue to watch it. But Will Smith has been volatile late in games as it is. And if the spin rate is down for whatever reason, not using something up with the mechanics, again, you decide. Will Smith going to be really shaky in the 9th inning for the Braves. Now, in these 2 appearances, 1 inning, 2 hits, 1 inning, 1 hit, didn't walk anybody, didn't give up a run, didn't strike anybody out in these 2 appearances. He's somebody to watch. Also got to watch at the end of the games for the Padres, Mark Melancon. Looking at the spin rate on the knuckle curve and the cutter, that is enough to cause some concern for me. These outings, 1 inning, 2 hits, 1 run, 1 K, 1 inning, 1 hit, 1 walk, no Ks, no runs. So Mark Melancon is going to be somebody to watch to see if that spin rate either can bounce back or it's going to stay down. How does he perform moving forward? These are pitches that require movement. The cutter's got to move. The knuckle curve has to move. If it can't move as much, if it's not spinning as much, it's going to be hittable. So how the Padres go late in games, Mark Melancon is going to have a lot to say about that to watch that spin rate. Andrew Kittredge, the spin rates are down big time. 245 and 295 on the sinker and the slider. Now, he didn't throw it a lot, so we're trying to get more of a sample size, more outings. He went out through the sinker. It was down 312 after being down 245, and the slider down 306 after being down 295. So Andrew Kittredge might be hittable moving forward with this reduced spin rate. His outings, 0.2, a hit, a walk, and a strikeout, and then 1 inning, 1 hit, 2 Ks. Going to need a larger sample size to see how the spin rate affects a lot of these pitchers, especially Kittredge. Some of these guys are getting by. They had a good start, or they just got by. They had a quality start, but what's going to happen as we start to stack these starts and see over 2, 3, 4, 5 starts or 5 appearances, what happens to them when they're going out there? Again, I'm giving you the information. You do what you want with it. Track the pitcher, trade him from your fantasy baseball team, release him from your fantasy baseball team. Whatever you want to do, this reduced spin rate will have an impact on their performance moving forward. So you want to watch that, see if it can bounce back a little bit or if this is who they're going to be now. Again, hitters were saying that this was rampant. Almost everybody was using it, and we're seeing these spin rates drop for most of the pitchers that are out there. Not all, but most have seen a significant drop. When I went back and I looked at all of the spin rates over the last 3, 4, 5 days, I was surprised to see just how many pitchers were having a decrease. It was refreshing to see pitchers that are having a good season this year and not have the big drop in spin rate. Guys like Zach Wheeler and Anthony Descalfani and Robbie Ray having good seasons and not seeing a 150 or 200 RPM drop on their fastball or on their sliders. Refreshing to see that. I put this out here because it is worth keeping an eye on and watching over the next couple of weeks. Again, take this information, do what you want with it. Reminder, disclaimer, a reduction in spin rate is not a sign of guilt. It could be a bad outing. It could be something wrong with the mechanics. We track it. But right now, with what's going on, with the crackdown, with how prevalent sticky stuff, spider tack, whatever you want to call it was, it's something that we need to watch, monitor, and track moving forward for the next couple of weeks. Thank you for checking this video out. I appreciate you spending a few minutes with the channel. I will add links to other content that I have done more recently. Again, make sure to hit that like and subscribe. Stay close to the channel for future content. Thank you for watching.